And so she might have disqualified herself. So what the fuck are we dealing with if we're dealing with two disqualified candidates for presidency?
Mm-hmm. Like,
What
can
we're
I go?
dealing with
Are we?
right
Oh,
now.
You're interpreting the
Wait a
no, no, no.
FCC.
minute.
Wait, 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 wait,
Empathy
wait,
is
wait. No,
next,
no,
and then
yeah,
Heru, then context.
yeah. Because I had.
Okay. What we're dealing with right now, we're dealing with a shit show. All right. It's been a shit show since the last election, man. So this is what I got to say about it. If you like what's going on right now, keep her as your president. Don't like it, change it. That's it. That's all.
Okay, I made a mistake. It's empathy, then Heru, then purple diva, then context.
No, now my hand went up before in Purple Divas. You gotta look at the chat because I was watching
I'm
the chat.
looking at it. Wait a minute.
You gotta look at it again,
I
unless
know
you did it
you
twice.
did. You did.
Yeah. So
Somebody raised their
you did
hand
that.
twice. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Heru.
Yeah, I'll be real quick. I'm not too big and deep into politics, so I'm learning a lot listening to y'all. And I'll mainly just make a statement dealing with Mr. Joe Biden. Because the last time I seen him like out and about was on the Halloween party or something like that, walking out with the first lady with when she for some weird reason wearing a panda costume, and he putting baby's feet in his mouth. That's the last time I seen Joe Biden. Just in case anybody wondering where he been at. So I don't know what's going on. Like this is kind of like a shit show, and I just want to say this too. I believe the presidential election is on a Tuesday, so just be wise, that day. Be smart, because I just want to say that they feeding off a lot of emotions. And Tuesday is Mars Day, so it's gonna be a lot of energy that they're gonna try to you feel me, use to their advantage. So self control critical. That's into politics. Be mindful. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, he over there putting baby feet in his mouth, and he walking out with the first lady, and she got a panda costume on, and this behind that panda costume too. So it's a lot of weird stuff going on. I don't know what's up. What I'm confused. But yeah, I just wanted to just make a statement.
Okay.
Thank you, Heru. Go ahead, context.
Okay. So Purple mentioned constitutional rights. Okay. It's common knowledge, it's common sense that there's many agencies, there's many where a lot of people's constitutional rights being violated on a daily. This happens in court. This happens when people don't do due process. I've been through it. I won against a judge because I didn't acquiesce, I didn't move forward. I established my inalienable rights, right? There's people that don't know these things. This is a fact. This is public knowledge, not public knowledge. Well, it is public knowledge. So not everyone just put the constitutional right, but now we're going to talk about she mentioned in context to the Congress, right? Okay. Now, during the pandemic, there's been a lot of things that certain constitutional rights were violated, right? When the Supreme Court, they tried to push through something through a vaccine mandate through the Supreme Court, it was blocked because certain people said it was in alignment with the constitutional rights, right? There's been other things, and this happens a lot, where the Constitution should be held up as a standard. It definitely gives people the power for your state constitution if it was always enacted upon, if it was always enforced. But that's not the case. And here's on a bigger level, the UN, if you watch the UN, the US has most of the votes in the UN. But even the UN was like, okay, this is wrong. And even though the UN made a ruling against, you said it yourself, an arrest warrant to Netanyahu, he's not arrested. Right. But the Constitution that we're talking about is in the United States jurisdiction or in the state jurisdiction. But even in the international human rights level, which the UN is supposed to represent, it was still not honored. To this day, we have a war, which is escalated. So the reason why I'm bringing up those points, though, is it's a model and it should be enforced, like you said, but many times it's violated. And when people don't challenge the violations, it just moves forward. That's how people acquiesce to stuff. It's upon the people. That's why it says the people have the power. The people are supposed to step up and challenge it. That's not happening. So they end up moving forward, doing things, stealing rights from the people, right? That sometimes people are not even aware of. So I'm in agreement with the Constitution, 100%. I read most of the constitutions of the states. A lot of people don't even know that each state has a constitution. A lot of people don't know some of the stuff that we're talking about, like faithless electors. But some people do know it, and they use it against people who don't know it. And that's the point I'm trying to get at right now. So you mentioned, I brought up Joe Biden, and he's not functioning as a president. He's not. Whether you said he made one appearance that you didn't pay attention to or whatever, he's the actual president. He's supposed to be the commander in chief, the commander. So if he's not functioning in his operative role, well, the next in line is supposed to, because we have to admit he has not been functioning as the president. So if he's not functioning as the commander in chief and leading as the commander in chief, then who is leading and commander in chief? Who is? Well, common knowledge would tell me maybe it's the person that we see in our face, speaking, trying to set the tone of the country, trying to represent the actual brand image of the country, right? That's the current vice president. That's why it says in there's the acting vice president. It actually talks about the acting vice president. If the president isn't, you said it has to go through Congress, but how many times we know the super PACs, political action committees, we know AIPAC, a lot of things is being violated. Certain things are not followed. A super PAC and a super PAC, not really a political action committee, does not follow the actual guidelines of the actual Constitution. We could agree upon that. It's just corporations buying politicians, which the Constitution is supposed to stop. That is not supposed to happen. We're not supposed to have politicians getting corrupted by AIPAC or other super PACs. So to say that the Constitution is always paramount and everyone's going by the Constitution is cap. And I'll end my plane. That's all I'm saying.
right,
But you
thanks.
made a good point. Yeah.
Go ahead, Purple Diva.
So to your last point about super PACs, it should work that way, except for Glass-Steagall, which the Supreme Court upheld, took that safeguard out of place. That's why these PACs can have billions of dollars and fund these campaigns. We have the Supreme Court to thank for that. As far as the FCC rule, that's not a complete accurate interpretation of it. The equal time rule was relaxed, I think, around 1990 to only for debates, interviews, and campaign ads. They took out the rule concerning third party, like SNL, or like if she showed up on Abbott Elementary. And even with the interviews, Trump was extended airtime for various interviews to follow that rule, and he declined. But she did not violate that rule by being on SNL, because that falls under the third party rule. And it wasn't a campaign ad, and it wasn't a debate, and it wasn't an interview. So she did not disqualify herself on that. With Netanyahu, I believe, and I thought I heard you say in the beginning that he had been convicted, which is why I said only an arrest warrant. Okay, well that's why I brought up the point that only. That's why I brought up the point that only an arrest warrant had been.
Right, he's not. He's not.
Okay, all right. So sorry for mishearing you.
Okay.
As far as acting president, it doesn't matter if you believe that he's not doing his job, because at the end of the day, the 25th Amendment is paramount. I don't know what he's doing any more than you know what he's doing. We don't know if he's not doing anything. We don't know if he's talking to Netanyahu on the